episode of Smoke and Mirrors. Um, we're here. We're here. We're here for now. This episode is brought to you by Merriam-Webster. Merriam-Webster, who, irregardless of how you feel about it, decided that irregardless is actually a word and did so in 1930 and 4. So we're just going to have to get over that one. Also brought to you by Donald Trump's China virus elixir. Now available at your local pharmacy. At least that's what he promised. So go ahead and see if it's there. And now here's a song. I love you is all that you can say. And now here they are, your invenerable host, Carlos Kareem Wyndham. God damn, everybody. How you the hell, boy? It's, here's the air horn. All right, there's the air horn, and that's official. We're officially here. Santo, and love to you. Good to see you, Andrew. Good to see you, everybody. Good to see you, anybody. Do you have a warm bevy? I hope you do. Usually I use my fuck cup to replenish the fucks, of which I have been out since my 30s. This time I am just I put some holy in there because I am just drinking down that holy fuck on this election eve. Okay, let's talk about what's going to be happening on Tuesday. I still want to know why the English say it like there's a CH at the front of it, but on Tuesday, I will be here with the one and only Queen from Queen and Jay podcast. Shout out to the BX, home of my father and residents of my family. We're going to be talking about some things, I'm sure, as it will be election day. And just an hour after my therapy. Good planning on my part. Yay me. Thursday, very special Patreon exclusive happening. Going to be in conversation once again with the one and only Oakland's own Don Jones. Thursday, November 5th. One of my favorite things that I share in common with Don Jones is that we both walk around in editorial outfits on a Monday like it isn't shit. So Don Jones is going to be here. We're going to be talking very specifically about placing music in film and in television. And it should be a good one. I do look forward to that. So patrons, get ready. If you are not a patron, that's okay. You can fix that by becoming one. But I'll tell you how in a second, because first I'm going to tell you about this record right here. I'm on it. It's called And We Ride. That's the title track. I'm also on that. You should look at the coffee on the notes. There's no notes on the paper, so I guess it doesn't matter. We'll edit this out. Joshua, you can edit this out, right? All right, we'll take that right out. Don't worry about that. And We Ride. Wallace, Aaron Wallace, myself, Charles, we got Andrew there, we got our Kevins, and of course we got our Newells, and it is good music, and you can look for it right there on the Bandcamp. If you are absolutely broke, do me a favor, go ahead and look for that on your Spotify's, where you can listen to it for free. Because let's distribute the wealth. Also, if you have some of the wealth and you are willing and able to purchase said album, please do. Artists do not make no money on Spotify. I promise you that. And lastly, you can Drop 5 on it if you want to at the Venmo, at the Cash App, at the PayPal. That's all different variations of my name. Venmo, Carlos Wyndham. PayPal, $CK Wyndham. And, no, Cash App, I'm sorry. $CK Wyndham. PayPal, me.ck Wyndham. Really doing great today. This is fantastic. Patreon is there. Smoke and Mirrors, CCB, the C and the B are for the comedy and the culture and the bullshit. Those are the things we talk about here. Okay. Hi, everyone. It is the day before the election, and I have a very special guest here with us today. We'll get into that in just 1 second. I don't know what else to do to emphasize how fucking important it is for you to vote. I'm out of things. I will say this. If the moment feels familiar, there may be a reason. We are being guarded right now by the regime, and in specific by A.G. Barr, who has a favorite college memory that he recently that came to light. And that was when he decided that it was a good idea to beat up hippies and bring coffee to the cops during the riots at the Democratic National Conventions. So he's in charge. If Trump goes, guess who goes with him? The fucking AG. So if you're not into reliving that kind of nostalgia, there's a way we can end that together. And that is, if you haven't voted already, call your family members, make sure they vote. I don't care about, I don't give a fuck about voting. It's not ever been my thing. I have often said, just vote for the one who's going to do the least damage. And I am saying this to you right now. Call me Votey McVoterson. Fucking go vote. Vote. Vote or die, to quote Puffy. It's more serious this time. Seriously, vote, please. It's Black people hunting season, and we are running out of things to rip off of the tree and try and convince people to stop it. So please, vote. Okay, so my guest today is somebody who I've known for well over a quarter century, because we are young and vibrant and relevant. They are a senior fellow at the Media Justice Center. They were a featured speaker and valuable resource for Ava DuVernay and the creation of 13th. They're my friend. What else can I say? Hey, please welcome right here under the philosopher's tree, please, Malkia Cyril. Hey, Mac, what it do?
Hey now, good to see you.
Good to see you. Very first things first, I want to acknowledge and thank you for being here under distress, and to wish you public and from the heart condolences to you and to your family. I know that you're doing double duty today, right now, with me and with this community, as you are celebrating the life of one of your family members. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure to be here. And, my Aunt Sandy, who passed away on Friday, we just had an impromptu memorial service as this was happening. So, but we just ended. So I'm grateful that I'm able to participate today. So thank you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I appreciate that. I think the win, lose, or draw, we all gonna be having to buckle up for a whole lot more of that in the not too distant future. That whether it is our elders or our peers, we're not. We better buckle up. It's gonna be some shit. How you holding up with The election, is it how are you holding up? I know when we checked in earlier, you were saying you were just waking and getting ready to break fast or breaking fast. Are you
You know,
sleeping?
I don't sleep much. I don't sleep much.
Okay.
Sleeping has become real difficult for me. But that's been true for some time now. As you know, I lost my wife 2 years ago,
I do.
um, and she was diagnosed with a terminal cancer in 2016. And since 2016, I've lost an additional 11 people in my life, and several of those people were, well, at least one of those people was two of them, people that I actually was part of taking care of them, part of their care team as they transitioned. And many of them, almost all of them, are people whose funerals I helped plan and execute. So unfortunately, I've become well versed in transitioning, the art of transitioning and, managing caregiving for illness. And that's really what my last 4 years have been like. And,
Yeah.
there's no accident, I think, that at the same time as I've been, caring for my loved ones and watching them die, we've been under the thumb of an incredibly violent, brutal, authoritarian president, whose sickness and whose own toxicity is another thing to manage and navigate. And so I think like somewhere between the two, I feel like we are just in a very toxic period of human history. That I pray that our organizing and our work and our love and our hope and our songs will move us to the other side of this. But I know that moving to the other side will not happen on election day, but I'm
At all.
hopeful that it will be a step, a push in a direction. That's all. That's the best case scenario, is that it moves us possibly in a direction where maybe more can be done. Gives
Yeah.
us a little leverage, to move, but that's about it. So that's my greatest hope, is a little leverage and a little bit more breathing room.
Yeah, I mean that's always it in any election, right? Like every election that every movement, every not movement, but I'm sorry, every campaign that we've been a part of, together individually, um, over these decades, right?
That's right.
And decades over these decades, like they get to some shit. You know what I'm saying?
Oh
And
yeah.
and helping people understand and helping the young people understand because it is frustrating when you feel that energy, right? When you're in them streets and you're knowing and you're like, yo, we making a difference. I feel it. I feel it right now. It's in the air,
Yeah.
right? You know you just
Yeah.
did it. You know you just did some shit.
Mhm.
And then the next
Mhm.
week, everybody back home watching Friends or watching,
It's true.
whatever the fuck.
But
Yeah.
that's really why I think it's important for us to train our young leaders to make accurate assessments of the political conditions, reading, giving people not only, literature from the past, analysis that's come up from the past, but also really creating space to analyze current events and have that conversation, because
Yeah.
otherwise we get unrealistic expectations of what our actions will produce. And I know in 1969, or maybe it was more like 1968, but
Eight.
people
Yeah. Yeah.
believed, that something was about to happen.
Yeah.
They really thought that revolution was around the corner, and they did not predict the level and type of backlash that they would receive. They certainly didn't assume that they would be walking away with fistfuls of political prisoners locked behind bars for 50 years, 30 years, 40 years, and the recognition and the realization of how dastardly this government can be and the state can be, how powerfully brutal it can be. That was a shock. I think, even as these folks, the Black Panthers and the folks in the civil rights movement, and folks in AIM, and the folks in the Chicano, power movements, and all of these folks
Yeah. Yeah.
knew they were fighting against a brutal government, but still they were shocked
Yeah.
at how repressive the state could be. And so I want for our young people out here in these streets, because I'm not in these streets no more. Let's
Mm.
keep it 100. I'm
Mm.
46.
Listen. Listen. I just turned 49. I just turned
You know what I'm
49. I
saying?
ain't in them streets.
No, no, no. I can't. I mean, I like to find a protest in my car and ride alongside and honk. You know,
Yeah. Beep beep.
that's what I'm at.
Beep
Exactly.
beep.
I show my support. You know, I show my support. But these legs ain't gonna carry me, so I need the young people get
Yeah.
their energy right. You know, and what I'm here for is to help them make their clear assessment and make their clear strategy so that they got an impact they want without any illusions about what's gonna happen next.
Yeah. Well, and like I had said at the beginning of the opening when I was doing the cold open, and you were closing out with your family and stuff. I was talking about 68 and 69, and not in some hey folks, let's all look at the lessons of the past way, but like, hey motherfucker, y'all know the AG Bar was out in them streets
Hmm.
in 68 and 69 putting hands on our people and bringing coffee to the police. Okay?
That's right.
So if for any of us who's having flashbacks, it's not you.
That's
This
right. It's just
motherfucker
the
really doing
reality.
it. Like
That's right.
he trying it. He trying it. He
Hmm.
think he got the
Hmm.
right president to do his
Hmm.
shit. It's a
That's right.
different day. It's a different motherfucking day. And don't be
Yeah.
surprised. Y'all saw the trials. You know what's about to be. Kangaroo
That's
courts
right.
being tied down in the fucking court if you open your mouth too
Oh
much or
yeah.
know too much.
Hmm.
Don't forget that's why Bobby got assassinated that time. Giving
Hmm.
information in the court.
Right.
I get a little heated. I get a little
Hey,
heated.
it's agitating. You know what I'm saying? I understand.
You know
It's
what? I'm gonna
hot.
put that coffee to the side. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I have some pressed juice. I'm in the pressed juice gang now. I'm gonna try and drink some little pressed juice so I don't have to.
Okay. Get the press juice.
I'm trying to get my little healthy on. You know what I'm saying?
What you
Like I've been
doing?
drinking coffee here with these people every day, doing this 4 days a week. I'm like, oh Lord, I can't. I can't. I'm not sleeping.
Hmm.
Holy shit! How long have you been? No, I'm not gonna say how long because I know. When was the first time that you remember actively, not even actively or passively being in the streets? First time that you could remember it.
I was 5 years old. I was sitting on my mother's shoulders, and we were protesting the the way people were being treated who were coming from Haiti on boats and showing up in New York. You know, and we were down at the water in the place where Haitians were arriving. You know, on these rafts and on these makeshift boats, and I remember chanting. You know, I remember singing, and I remember that I said, "Mommy, I have a poem. I have a poem." And she went and got paper from somebody. And I remember a white man standing in front of her, and she was writing on his back, writing on the paper. And I said my poem, to her. And she wrote it down, and it was just about the Haitian boat people. You know what I mean? The people coming over on these boats. That's really my first concrete memory of protest in my
Yeah.
life.
How did that translate for you as you were a young person? I mean, that's amazing, right? Like I don't think people understand that for many of us who stayed for as long as we did at the spearhead of what was happening in the streets when we were younger, right?
Yeah.
Who stay trying to inform people now, um, sort of the history of what it takes to be there, right? Like a lot of people be seeing when it started looking sexy and start looking like Newsweek is showing up and whatever, and want to be like all jumping around, acting like something's happening, like they doing something, and don't
Mm-hmm.
understand the consistency
That's
that
right.
that has existed for the folks that they see at the spearhead and who get that kind of respect and who get that kind of that folks like yourself. How
Mm.
long, or rather, what what is the consistency that you remember in your own early childhood into adolescence as that was developing that political tenor?
I mean, the thing is that I was always in the streets. My mother was always in the streets. We were a protesting family, my
Mm-hmm.
sister. And whether it was like, I remember my mother taking me to a women's march in DC. I remember my mother, we always was out protesting police brutality. My mother used to volunteer for Assemblyman Roger Green in New York. She was a poll captain on election day. We were always in the streets. Like I remember one time, when I was young, uh, she wanted me to perform my poetry and share my poetry with people, and so she would host these poetry readings in our living room.
Hmm.
And I didn't know this. See, she would invite people like Sonia Sanchez and other people like that. I didn't know they were famous till later, and I would read my poems and they would read their poems, and I didn't understand what she was doing for me at the time. I know now,
Yeah.
what it was, but at the time I really didn't. She would drive me and my friends to the New Eurekan Poets Cafe.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? And I would perform. I remember performing with Willie Perdermo. I remember performing with Miguel Agarin. You know what I'm saying? Just like all of these individuals who later became, these well-known, writers. And I mean, maybe they were well-known even then. I have no
Yeah. Yeah.
idea.
Yeah.
But but I remember growing up and um, being the youngest person to win, a poetry slam at the New Eureka Poets Cafe. I got written up in the Village Voice, and all
Come
this
on now.
stuff
Come on
seemed
now.
normal to me,
Right.
because my mom, she demanded that type of excellence, and we didn't know any other way. We didn't understand anything but this life of politics and art, and that's how she raised us. And so there was no, people ask me when did I start in the movement, and there was no beginning, just like there'll be no end.
Mm.
I'm born into this movement, I'm gonna die in this movement, and
Mm.
that's how that goes.
Mm. Mm. That's real. Someone who I've known my whole life was asking me something similar recently, right? Like they remembered me quoting Malcolm to them, talking about the combination of believing what I believe with the fervency that I do uh, means there's very little way that I get to live into old age in this world, and that's just what it is, right? And I remember talking with people who were not directly movement related, right? When I was 15, 16, 17, 18 years old, trying to get people activated, whatever. And saying this kind of thing to them, right? And even as I was saying it, feeling like, man, I don't know, this feels very verbose. I maybe, but I don't know. But listen, I think they might. I don't know. If I get it for you, I think they might be looking. And it's only as decades pass and as you start having those very interesting conversations with people in black suits that you're like, oh shit, I don't have to ask. I know what you're doing. I
Right,
know what you're
right.
doing. Yeah, it's wild. I don't know if people really understand, that level of paranoia that shit.
But you
Not
know
once you're
what?
used to it, right? Once you're used to it, you're used to it. It's fine.
Yeah,
But that first
yeah.
time it hits off and somebody show up with that weird like, so what do you think about Vietnam? Like, nigga, what are we talking about right now? What is happening? You know what I'm talking about?
That's the funny thing, though. I remember when that movie Malcolm X came out,
Yep.
the Spike Lee version,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
right?
With dark skinned
Denzel,
Malcolm played by Denzel. Yes.
exactly. Yes, okay. And
A dark
I'm like,
skinned super butch
I'm like,
Malcolm.
but I know, right? I'm like, you didn't look like that, but that's fine. He did a good job.
It was good. It
But
was
like,
very
it
good.
was still good. I remember in the when I was watching it, I'm trying to remember who was president at the time, but I just remember I yelled out "fuck the president" in the movie
Yeah.
theater,
Yeah.
and I thought I was so big and bad for saying that. I don't know why I said it. I mean, it was ridiculous, but my mother slapped me in the face, which she has never done. My mother has never slapped me. I was not a child that I got beat with literally a rolled up newspaper, and I thought I was being abused. My mom was like, "That doesn't even hurt. Stop playing."
Mm.
Like my friends was out there getting beat for real with straps and stuff like that. My
Right,
mom was
right.
not a hitter, but yet. she slapped me right in my face, and I was like so shocked. Why would you hit me, And
Yeah.
later she told me, she said, because you don't, if you want to take a risk, if you want to put yourself on Front Street and be seen, then you do it for a reason. You do that when there's an outcome that matches the risk you took.
Mm,
But you don't stand up and say anything loud about the president in a movie theater when there's no outcome that will
mm,
help, that there's no benefit to it.
mm.
That only brings negative attention. And she was like, I want you to really understand, I want you to remember that slap. I want you to really understand, every time you open your mouth, ask yourself, is this a risk worth taking? And if it is, take it. But if
Yeah.
it isn't, stand back. Because she told me there will be people all around you agitating, pushing you towards this and that, and you don't know who's who. But at the same time, she also reminded me and told me regularly that, you know, you can't be paranoid. That's what they want. They want you to be
Come on.
afraid. They want you to stop doing what you're doing. And you can't be paranoid, because the fact is, if they want you, they'll come and get you. There's
That's
nothing
it.
you can do to prevent that unless you flee. That's
Will you
which
say that one more
people
time, please? Say that one more time, please. Let these people know.
just like, if they want you, they will come and get you. You can't stop that, but and therefore you can't be paranoid about it. You have to be in your purpose. You have to be in your purpose at all times. You have to take worthy risks, understanding the consequences, and not be paranoid. That's what they want. We can't give them what they want ever.
That's
So
it.
she would tell me that all the time. Watch your mouth. Watch your mouth. I mean, look, my mom died in 2005. She had sickle cell anemia.
Mm,
And a few weeks before she died, the FBI came to our home. They broke the door, in their attempt to enter. They questioned my mother in relationship to a trial that she was being subpoenaed on. She had refused to testify, and so they were threatening her with prison. My mom was in hospice. My mother was in hospice, home hospice. She couldn't walk.
mm.
She was in a wheelchair. And they were threatening my mother with prison for failing to comply with the subpoena to testify against her comrades. She was like, okay, this is what I admire about my mother. She said, oh, she was very calm. She was quiet about it. She said, I understand. I, I hear what you're saying,
Right, right.
But she was like, I'm not going with you though. I mean, that's not happening. So, but I understand your frustration.
Yeah.
And that's how she was. And that was true of her up to the day she died. She would take risks for her people. She would stand against her oppressors, and she did it calmly, with strength, you know. And I want to be the same way.
Mm. Yeah, you have always showed that kind of resilience, and I truly appreciate that. Shout out to the family who are watching right now. And shout out to you, Esperanza. We see you there. And I heard two people have said, and I got a response from Kelly also here saying that this has happened a couple times now, that if you're watching this, some people are experiencing it glitching, and some people are not. And there is, you know, broadcasters can make things as unglitchy or glitchy as they want to, and we are using platforms that. So what's going to happen is this is also being simul recorded, and I will post it after for those who are getting the glitch. Don't worry about it. It's going to be up there. I'll put it on Smoke and Mirrors page. I will put it on my page. I'll put it in YouTube, and it will be there. If it's glitchy on Facebook's at all, you could switch over to the YouTube Live. It should be there working just fine. So I'm sorry that we're getting zucked. I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you. That's beyond our control right now. If someone wants to put us on your network, I dare you. And we'll at least it'll broadcast better for the month and a half that we're on the air. Jesus Christ. So you said you lost your mother in what year?
2005.
2005. Okay, I lost my mother. Gosh, I think I'm going on 4 years ago now.
Mm.
And yeah, it's some shit. It's some shit. Uh, and it was a good while after I had lost my son. So it wasn't for me an experience that was like, okay, this death is connected to that death is connected to that death, and how come all the people gotta die, da da da. More just a realization that like, fuck, everybody gonna die. Like this is a one way ticket. We all going in one direction, and feeling very fortunate to have had the time with her that I did, but it also amplified for me those lessons, right? Like the ones that you're talking about, in terms of how I live my own life, how I structure my own life, how I show up for people,
Hmm.
and how I show up mostly for myself, right?
Right.
Um, what are some of the bigger lessons that you took with you into your adult relationships about what is now popularly uh, uh, perhaps caringly jacked, referred to as self care. What are the
Mm.
lessons that you were able to carry with you, that you are able to carry with you? If you could share some of those.
Well, if I can be 100 with you, I don't think I learned self care from my mother.
Okay.
My mother was a workaholic. I remember going to her job. You know, I lived at her job. Me and my sister, we were basically raised at her job.
Mm, mm,
And I remember going to my mother's office. I would be grading her papers. At when I was 9 years old. She worked in at LaGuardia Community College. I would be filing her papers. She had stacks and stacks of papers everywhere. My mother would be sitting in her office with no windows and the door closed, smoking a cigarette. You know what I'm saying? Like smoking a cigarette in a government, in a city building that did not allow smoking. And people would let her do it because she had sickle cell anemia. And they felt like, where she's often in pain, she wouldn't take any morphine, she smoked cigarettes. So they would let her do it,
yeah.
and and I remember being in that office, I would be coughing. My mother would have her cigarette, and she'd be like patting me on the back, talking about, put your hands up, baby. And I'm like, could you stop smoking a fucking cigarette? That would actually help more than me putting my arms up. But it's fine. But so, no, I did not learn self care from my mother. Black women of her age, and especially at that time, they treated themselves much like the rest of the world treated them, like
Come on.
workhorses. They worked and they worked and they worked, and sometimes that work was to provide, and sometimes that work was to transform the world. But regardless, they worked and worked and worked.
Mm,
No, I learned my self care from my wife.
mm.
I learned my self care from my wife because my wife was both the most generous person that I know and the most selfish. Meaning that she would be like, Sunday is spa day. Now you can fuck with me on that or not. You can go do whatever you're doing, but this is what I'm doing. My baby would always be like, let's go to the nail shop. You can get your feet, buffed up and everything, and I'm gonna get my nails done. She'd be like, I want to go to the hot tub. I want to, like, she was all about this thing. She's like,
Yes.
I'm doing my yoga. I'm finna meditate. I'm doing a cleanse today. And she had no problem. She told me, look, on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'm gonna need you to leave the house. Yeah, because I this is my personal time for me to be alone. And
Wow.
it never occurred to me. It didn't occur to me that I could say that to somebody, that I
Yeah.
could be like, oh, I'm gonna take time for myself. Or I don't want to do that right now. I don't want to
Right.
go to that place. I don't want to, or I'm gonna stop working at 5. I'm just going to. Doesn't matter what I have to do. I'm ending my day at this time.
Yeah.
She taught me that. She taught me that because she didn't accept anything less. She
Mm.
refused anything but that. And so, I learned how to care for myself from my wife. She was the best teacher that I've ever had with regard to love, loving myself. And I will carry those lessons forward into the future. My mother taught me how to love the world.
Mm.
My mother taught me how to care for the world and be present and there for the world. My wife taught me how to love myself. And
Cool.
they're both dead. They both died.
Yeah.
And so I'm just trying to live out their legacy. I have a lot of sorrow in my life and in my heart and in my way of being, but I also have a lot of joy. I know how to go down a slide at the pool and dunk myself into the water. I'm good with my joy. And I have no problem with them two things existing side by side.
Yeah.
My deep sorrow and my deep joy, because that's what life really is if you're really open to it, you know. So that's it. I didn't learn that. I learned great things from my mama, but I learned how to love myself from my wife.
Yeah. And how are you carrying that forward right now? Like, what is your personal like self care regimen, if you will?
Well, look, I worked at the what was the Youth Media Council, then became the Center for Media Justice, and is now named Media Justice. I founded that organization in 2001, and I left that organization in 2019. So, baby, 20 years, and I bounced out. That's number one. That's the number one first thing that I did to care for
Mm.
myself. And that was just this past December. You feel
Mm.
me? December December 31st, 2019, I left. So that's number one.
Okay, so when I
Number
saw you
two,
recently,
uh
then, and you told
huh.
me that you were now the senior fellow, that's
I'm a
what
senior
that's what was
fellow.
happening.
That's what's happening. I,
Okay.
I
All
stopped
right.
being the executive director and I became a senior fellow. And I'm
Excellent.
happy about it. Yes,
Good.
I'm happy
Good.
about it.
Good.
I'm working on a book. I've been writing articles. But I also do something now every month called the Freedom Cleanse. I do it for the last 10 days of every month. I've had more and more people joining me. At first, we started out with maybe 7 people.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this last Freedom Cleanse, we have 52 people. And we basically choose a couple of things that are in the way of our freedom. And we abstain from that. And we
Oh
choose a
shit.
couple of things that bring us closer to our freedom and we practice that. So for me, for example, I'm a diabetic, so sugar is in between me and my freedom. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
also there's a few other things. So I abstain. I've usually focused on food. And then I'll bring in meditation, for example, daily meditation or daily journaling. And we do that for 10 days. So that's one thing I brought in. I've also brought in, I started something called Pandemic Joy.
Hmm.
And it's a Sunday morning um, gathering, virtual gathering. Some people call it Mac Church, but it's really not church. I'm not religious. My mother was a communist, but uh, it's just a spiritual gathering where we sing. Singers come through and sing to us. Sometimes they engage us in song. We bring on speakers. We've had wonderful, incredible. I know a million people. So
Yeah.
all these people that I know in my life, they come and speak and share as organizers, as artists, and they talk about big ideas. But all the big ideas are connected to how we navigate grief and loss in
Mm.
this time you
Mm.
know, and then we fellowship and break out groups and just build with each other. And
Yeah.
that's how we do it. That's Pandemic Joy every Sunday,
Hmm.
and so that's what I'm about.
Okay.
I just started I do grief groups, a grief group on Tuesday, and a drop in grief group. I do that. I mean, I could go on and on. I'm all about this healing,
Yeah.
but not as a self care ritual.
Right.
This is
Right.
as a collective care. Everything I do for myself, I make available for others.
Hmm.
And I started all these things. The Freedom Cleanse I started for me, but I included everybody. Pandemic Joy I started for me because song is an important part of my healing, and then I included everybody. The grief group, we moved it online, and that was for us. But I brought people in. I brought in many people to that group. So that's what I'm about right now. That's the kind of healing and care that I'm about. To care for us as a
Yeah.
community.
Oh, that evolution is that's beautiful. That's beautiful. I am honestly, I am very much looking forward to it. I'm gonna make sure we get it in the notes for the show. Pandemic Joy, especially. That sounds incredible,
Right on.
and like we're just gonna need more of it. Uh,
Hey, that's right.
whatever team win, it don't really matter. We still up in this shit,
No,
and it's not going
exactly. I mean,
anywhere.
the forces have been activated. The
Yeah,
forces, the right wing, it's a global fight.
yeah,
All these countries all over the world, the right wing has been activated. So no matter what happens on Tuesday or by January, really, because we ain't gonna know nothing on Tuesday, but
listen.
whatever happens, we are still in a pitched battle against the right and for justice in this world, in this country. Like that's not changing. The not neither
Period.
the substance of it nor the pitch of the battle.
Yeah,
We're in it.
we ain't one shit. We ain't
Mm-mm.
one shit.
No, this ain't
We
about
get
yeah,
elected. Yeah, no, this ain't no
right.
dance. We trying to get a life. This is a different
This
thing.
is about living. Exactly. This is about survival. This ain't about winning. This is about surviving to fight another day.
Period. Period.
Yeah.
Let them know. One of the questions we have from one of our regulars, Lisa, is whether or not Pandemic Joy is online. Where can folks
Nope.
find that?
They can't find it. They cannot find it because the
All
thing is,
right.
it's not a show. It's a gathering, and it's where by word of mouth. You got to know somebody who knows somebody. Because the
Okay.
thing is, what we're not going to do is have strangers and any, them people that try to disrupt stuff, right? You know what I'm talking about?
I know
Coming
exactly
into
what you're
our
talking about.
space. You feel me? This is a sacred space, and so if somebody is interested in this sacred space, they just gotta holler at me, But this is a sacred space. It's a gathering. We are coming together to heal and do that healing work, and it's available, but you got to know somebody. I got to know you.
There
So
it
if you want
is.
to participate, come get to know me. That's how that goes.
There it is. There it is.
Yeah.
Lisa B, please make sure that you find my folks, Malkia, for that because I know that you have been looking for that kind of community. You've become a part of our community because of that. You be there with your notes, looking at it on the TV. I know.
Hey,
I'm serious. I'm saying Lisa don't be
yes.
playing. Lisa don't be playing. Lisa in Las Vegas right now, doing
Yeah.
what they
So
do with
Carlos
us.
gonna put us together.
All
You
right,
put
let's
us
make that
together.
absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely. I'll
Los,
put you
Los,
up. I'll put you
Los.
up in the
Yes.
chats. I'll put you
Thank
up in
you.
the chats. We'll do it like that,
All right. All right.
and we'll keep that private. So one of the things that we are experiencing right now that is also real is the impact of the time change as the
Yes.
I'm listen. If I turn this fucking computer around and show everybody what it takes for it to look like this,
I'm
as
like,
it's
my
a
house is dark.
don't even look.
So sorry.
No, no, no. Look, family, watch this. If I put you on screen by yourself, you look gorgeous. I put us on screen together. That's where we can see it. Don't even worry about it. And
Right.
I'm gonna apologize to everybody who watches instead of listening, uh, because I expect that with daylight savings, this is gonna be a regular occurrence
Mhm.
for a minute.
Yeah, well, I should turn on the light.
You want to do it? Here, look. I'll come on
Turn on
screen
the
now.
light.
Look at this. I'm on screen now, fucking around. Look at this.
Okay.
Don't even worry
Right.
about it. If I had a good joke, this would be the place where I would share it. If I had writers, this would be where they. Joshua, do you have anything? Nothing. Seriously? No, we can't send. No, we cannot send lighting to our guests.
There you
Family,
go.
we have like 10 normal patrons. We can't. Everybody's not going to be able to do that. It's a generous thought. No, no, no. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Look at that. All the gorgeousness lit up.
Lighten up the world.
Yes, this is what I'm talking about. Um, All right, two more things that I want to get to the guts of, because they're things that, when you know each other a long time. I'm a petty one, and I am also somebody who was truly brought into the thrust of the movement. Was always a part of it. Have been in the streets, and tried to do this thing of keeping my art here and my movement stuff here. That didn't work. From the WTO forward, it was like, well, okay, fuck it. Getting gassed with chemical agents that give you and all of your friends nightmares for a month. It'll radicalize you away. I don't know. That said, some people within these communities still treated myself, my comrades in my bands, as though we were rock stars, and maybe we got invited places by you, and maybe a hotel room. Mac has disappeared. I'm coming on the screen. There we go.
Sorry,
that's all right.
I have
That's all right.
cats that walk on. Yeah,
If
cats walked on the screen there.
as long as it's not feds, we know what it is.
Yeah. All right, keep going. I'm sorry. And it
So-
might happen again. If it does, I'll fix it.
No thing. I would like to apologize formally, because though I had very little control over it, there may have been an occasion where a hotel room got proper rock star thrashed.
Okay. Well, don't worry about the fact that my thing is happening. There's something wrong with the keyboard, but we just gonna keep on going while I fix it.
We got it. You go work it. I'm on screen in my just squirming in my embarrassment by myself right now, around the fact that we did. I did not, but once I had awoke to discover a hotel room, absolutely. You would have thought Aerosmith stayed there. I'm talking about vomit in the shower. People I don't know sleeping all about. And invited to be there. I think the statute probably has passed for I believe it was the National Association of Education. So,
Wow.
whoops. Whoopsies. Your camera is off, which is why I'm
how
on
about
screen
now?
solo dolo. Now you're there.
How about now? Okay.
Now we there.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna fess to that.
Hey, you know what? Sometimes that's what has to happen. Trash a hotel room.
Listen.
You know?
I'm not super surprised that the crew was not invited back to those events. I get it. It was a lot like a scene from the movie The Hangover. It was a little rough, and drink responsibly, young organizers. I think that's what we're saying. Smoke responsibly, be a little responsible.
That's right.
So here's the thing, and we'll do this, and then we'll move on, and I'm glad that you and I are able to continue to comrade as we do, given our different strategies around this one. When my former comrades, and I'm not going to name names here because that is one of the things I've stopped doing. I've stopped that. I have
Don't
stopped
do that.
I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I will say many at this point of my avowed I'm not going to say that either. Comrades have found punditry and debate to be things they are doing, and I assume they
Yes.
believe to be useful things they are doing.
Yes.
I
I'm knowing exactly what you're talking about.
I
Yes.
may I may I may have been in public discussion with one or three, and I tend to be particularly harsh in said
Horse.
discussions. Little harsh,
Mhm.
little harsh.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, the harshness, I will admit, began very often in real life and carried over. But there is harshness. There is harshness. And you were very quick to snatch me up. We did not come to a place of agreement, but which is okay
Yep.
because you were very quick to snatch me up, and I do appreciate it because it did leave me in a place of having to give consideration and thought to when would be the moments at which, right? Like, is it necessary every time someone slips on a banana peel, or
They're not slipping. They know exactly what they're doing.
no? Okay, listen, I'm trying to give people credit now. Come on, come
That's the
on,
thing, though. That's the thing, though. Look, look. This is the
go
thing.
ahead, talk to me.
Just because I don't smash on people on social, don't mean I don't smash on them in private. You
Right.
feel me?
Facts,
Because
facts,
I
facts,
do.
facts. I know
I
you
do.
do. That's
I
okay. So
do.
that was part of the
You
thing
feel
for
me?
me because I know you
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
I know you do because we have done together. So when folks was coming, when you
Yeah.
was the one coming to me like, hey, 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 let's calm down. That was a surprise for me. But you had a point
Yeah.
about why too. Can you please share that with folks because
I
it
mean,
has
I
brought me
don't
some
think
light.
I don't know why I said that at that time, but I can I can say this that
Okay,
um
talk to us.
number one, if there are people out here that we need to gather, then simply bashing them on social media, it won't prevent them. It doesn't stop anything. It doesn't change anything. They don't change their behavior. In fact, they entrench in their behavior because they're ashamed. You feel me? So that's number one. My goal is to change the shit. I actually want them to act differently. So then I have to deal with that. Number two, I don't think every conversation is for everybody. You feel me? I just don't. It's like there are moments when I think it's actually not only fine but smart to call somebody out in public. There are times to do that. But I for me, I'm going to do that because I believe it will lead to something that I
Yes,
want to see. You feel
yes,
me?
yes,
If I'm
yes.
just doing it because I'm mad, if I'm being reactive, that's reaction. I'm not trying to be reactionary with my politics. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to
Yeah.
move an agenda somewhere. And and then finally, look, let's just keep it 100. There are people in the movement that were once closer in and are now further out. And this is me. I'm a loyal motherfucker. And I'm loyal even to people who are not loyal to me. This is what's so,
You
I don't
you are a
expect that
loyal
from
mother.
you.
You are a super super
I
loyal
am.
motherfucker because I think that's what it was. I think that's what it was.
Yes. I am a loyal person, and I don't know if it's masochistic. I don't know what it is, but I can just say that I do not require that to be returned to me in order for me to do it because it's about my principles. It's about who I am. You know what I mean? And like for me, if we were once on these in these streets together, for me, we are always in these streets together. Now you might go off and act crazy, and people have, and they do, you know. But I just really make it a point. I pick up the phone. People have lost the art. I got your
Yeah.
motherfucking number. You know what I mean? Like people have lost the art, and actually, I think it takes more courage to have a voice-to-voice conversation. I think we also begin to understand. Look, there are everybody. All strategies are not for everybody.
Right.
Now, I want to divorce from whether or not I necessarily think that every strategy is effective. That's a different
Okay.
issue.
Okay.
But let's assume they are effective, but that's not what I want to be working on. So for me, for example, I'm not interested in partnering with anyone on the right to figure anything out. Like that's not my strategy. I'm not interested in it. But let me say this.
I didn't explode. I took my
Anyone,
breath. Yeah, say it. Say
right?
it.
Anyone who works on criminal justice reform has partnered with folks on the right at one point or another because you find
Okay.
you find common cause. Like we had to when we worked on the prison, and you see that my cat. This is what I have to
Oh
deal
yeah,
with.
we see
So
the baby. We see the baby.
it is what
Name.
it is.
We need a name,
Um,
please. We need a name. Hold
this is
on.
Luna. This is Luna right here, and her
Luna, thank
brother
you for
is
joining us.
yeah, her brother is Patrick Baldwin Swayze. He's laying down elsewhere. But when we worked on the campaign for prison phone justice to lower the cost of calls from prisons, jails, and detention centers, we had to partner with some people in the Christian Coalition. Why? Because they also wanted to lower the cost of calls from prison,
Yeah.
jails, and detention centers for different reasons. They had a moral reason, they
Yeah.
had a religious reason. And the thing is, I would never engage with the Christian Coalition on any other issue, right? I'm clear on that. But the right wing is as vast as the left. They have many different elements, many different types of organizations in there. They are bound, sometimes tangentially, sometimes loosely, sometimes very strongly. And
Mm-hmm.
so there are moments when I understand you finding unlikely bedfellows and common cause. And that may not be, and just because you found it may not be what I need to do.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
I'm a person who believes it takes all of the strategies. We're not going to win by ourselves. It's not going to happen. Fringe strategies are fine, they have their place, but they do not replace mass strategies. And if you want a mass strategy to win, you're going to have to fuck with people you don't like.
Right.
That's how
I
that
agree.
goes.
I agree with
You know
that.
what I mean?
I agree with that, and I'm here with you for all of that. Now, with again,
Yep.
let's see. I'm gonna do this carefully. Hold on. Okay.
Just do it. Get
Okay.
into
All
it.
right. Okay. Let's get into it then. So, how the fuck you could ally then with the actual goddamn master? You know what I'm saying? You can't
No.
be working with the motherfucking Koch brothers and tell
And
me that that's a
this
strategy that makes any goddamn
I
sense.
I understand what you're saying. And I will say this, I cannot claim to understand. What I can claim is that until I understand, I'll give people benefit of the doubt. If I ever trusted you ever, I will give you some benefit of the doubt for a while, for a while.
It been a
Okay, for a
while. It
while.
been a while. It been a while.
So and so I don't know. I mean, I have to say this. I will never be a person, for example, who's going to be on CNN and MSNBC. That's not me. And
I
it's
ain't
not because
debating Newt
anything
Gingrich. I
wrong
ain't
with
debating
me.
a Nazi.
That's
That's not
not
my
me.
shit. That's not my
But
shit.
I'm not mad that somebody's going to do it. Okay, I'm not
True.
mad at that.
True.
I'm not
I'm
mad at
with
that.
you. I'm with
Somebody
you for that.
is going to do it. I'm fine. Do it.
Yeah.
But that's not where I'm going to place my energy and my work.
Yeah.
Now working with a party or a person where there is no clear benefit. That's the line for me. Okay, that's the line for me. There are times when working with the conservatives has a clear benefit. There are
Right.
times to our people. There are
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
times when you need to do something to neutralize something. Like I believe in strategy. I get it. There's a lot of politics, that most people don't understand, and I'm fine with all of that. But the thing is, there are times when there's no clear benefit to anyone, to any of our people anyway, and the only benefit is to the individual or to the other side, and that is when I pick up the phone.
Mm,
That's when I pick up the phone,
mm.
and it's also when, if I'm depending on my position, if I'm in a particular, if I'm in a role where I have a platform, I will. That is the moment when I will speak publicly. You understand what I'm saying?
I hear
There
you.
are
I hear you.
moments I will say, you know what, this has gone too far, or I'll say something more like, like we did, like people used to do. My good friend, I disagree with my good friend.
Right. Right. Right.
You know
Right.
what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right. Right. Yeah.
I understand where he's coming from, but I disagree. I would not do that. If it was me, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I'll take that approach. But it's a
Okay.
tender space. It's
Okay.
a tender space. you know. And I understand. I understand it. And there's not only one person like that. There's many,
No,
there's
yeah,
many
and that's the
people.
thing. That's the thing. It's I'm not,
Look, we grew up in
and
the
it's
Al
gotten to a point.
Sharpton time. We grew up in the Jesse Jackson time. We know what it's like when people were once one way and then they end up being these celebrity speakers and stuff that seem to, we don't know. Are you a snitch? Are you a Republican? Like, what is it? What's
Yeah,
happening?
yeah. Why you
Right?
talking about you want to be cutting off a black man balls on national TV? What's
What's
going on,
going
dog?
on? What's really going on? Like, I don't know. But what I can say is in every circumstance, look, I'm not about to do the white man's work.
Okay,
Just not going to. You feel me?
I
If
hear
I
you.
got to call in my people, I'm going to do that because that's our work to do.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
believe in that. But I'm not going to do the white man's work. I don't need to do that.
yeah.
You feel me? That's it. That's really how that goes for me.
God damn
But I
it!
know I'm very nice. I don't expect everybody to be like that.
Come
It's
on!
fine. I think you can
Come
be you.
on! Come on!
It is
Ah!
what it is. It is what it is.
All right, all right.
Mhm.
Shit.
Yeah, I
That's
know.
really
I know.
good. That fuck. God damn it.
Yeah, it's a mess though. It is a mess. It's a
Ah,
mess.
that hurts my soul. No, it don't. It hurts the reactionary parts of me, right?
Yeah.
They've birthed both a rebel and a speaker and an artist and an organizer and a comedian who works to try to upset and disrupt these systems, whose verbiage may be the tool that I use.
And
And
that's good, to be honest. In fact, when you when you turn it around and make it funny, now that to me, that's fair game. I think everybody can be laughed at. I think that's a extraordinary strategy and tactic.
yeah, no, and I have to remember. It's harder to remember when it's your friends. I gotta say, like it's
I know.
cute. It's like it's cute when Raquel's like, "Hey, come do a roast," and then I start getting everybody, and even there, people be like, "Yo, yo, yo, yo," but like, yeah,
I don't know what you're talking about.
yeah, yeah, exactly. That might be a little far, my friend. Um, Sorry. I'm sorry.
I feel
I'm
you.
sorry. I just got fired from by the NAACP, so I have a way about me. Um, and it is one that I know would be completely unsuccessful without the people like yourself who have a way about you. Uh, and I mean that. I mean that sincerely, and I mean that deeply. I know that um, for anybody, right, in these streets, in these movements, because we're no longer in the street, right? We're in the movement at this point. Always have been, but in a very different position, right? That folk in male perceived male presenting bodies are not easily trusted, or should they be? And
Hmm.
earning and developing a relationship wherein I am able to and have been able to and hope to be able to continue to be able to earn that trust is something that I really, really thank you for, and I thank you for your openness.
Mm,
Uh,
I thank you. Same. Thank you.
yeah, yeah,
Mm.
it's you know,
Oh, and when you
come
did
on,
that little campaign, or I don't know if it was a campaign, but you were on your own personal campaign about
yeah,
men ain't shit on
yeah,
Facebook,
yeah, yeah,
and Facebook kept trying to shut you down.
yeah.
So I had a meeting, with Facebook about that.
I remember this. Yes, yes.
And it was just so hilarious to me because how could the hashtag men ain't shit be equal to people calling us niggas and
Yeah,
calling us all kind of other names and these vast troves of white supremacist pages on Facebook that they could not seem to get off,
Right.
but they could target your little hashtag. You know what I'm saying? Men ain't
Listen.
shit. Really? I mean,
Listen.
that's how we understand that
Yeah.
the social media platforms are just very much an extension of the white supremacist state, like very much so. And we're using them subversively and we're using them to do what we need to do, but really. So I just want to thank you also for
Oh.
doing that. It was wonderful, and I love that you speak your mind, and I hope you never stop.
Oh.
I hope you never stop. If you act crazy, I'll come holler at you on.
I
I'll call you.
appreciate it. I appreciate it. Listen, no, I'm gonna tell you what. I've taken all kind of photos. I got all kind of shit around. I'm telling people, I'm like, look, if I'm back and I'm gonna do it in any kind of public way, I need everybody to be having some fucking boundaries around me because
Right.
somebody gonna show up. Like, oh, you cute. You want to come on and talk on Oberman for the but no, nigga, no.
Yeah,
No.
yeah,
Do
yeah.
Oberman want to hear the word nigga 5 times? Because if not, it's probably not the thing you want to bring me on. Probably not the shit. I gotta say it to keep my breath fresh, and then I say white to keep my teeth clean. So
White, yes,
don't.
yes.
I gotta lean in the H. The white, white.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
get it,
saying?
get it. Yes,
Gotta
I
get
do.
in there. Gotta get in there.
Yes, I do.
Oh shit.
Like flossing.
Listen.
Yes,
You know,
exactly.
like that hair that get caught around in the uvula. This was fun, but you know what I mean.
That's
You know what
it.
I mean.
Yes, I do.
I know you do. Uh, okay, listen. Before this goes too far off the rails, I will close us out. Please hang around for a little bit until after. Actually, you know what? You can do whatever you got to do. I know you're a very, very busy person. I will text you, get your information, and do all that shit. If you can hang around while I'm closing out, then we'll catch up on the backside. Is there anything else you need for these people to be knowing, be aware of? Some famous until the next time words you wanna shout at these people.
I don't have any famous until the next time words, but I will say I'm going to be launching a project called Carry Me Over, grief services for activists and organizers. So look out for that. I will also, you can find me on Twitter at Culture Jedi. So follow me there if you want to link up, whatever, we can build. And if you're an activist and you are grieving a loved one, also connect with me. There's a lot we can do together. I'd love to hear from you.
Blessing. Thank you so very
Peace.
much. Thank you for
Thank
the
you.
time.
I know.
Everybody, ladies, gentle them, give it up for my friend, my comrade, Malkia Cyril.
All right, now. Thank you.
All right, man.
Have a
Thank
good
you
night.
so much. Thank you for the time. Y'all, what the fuck? You know what it is. Come on, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to bring you that love. We're trying to bring that healing. We're trying to bring you that realness. We have a whole month of very special conversations coming up that I hope you will join us for, because we're all going to need the healing. We are all going to need the love. We are all going to need to find ways to keep moving, because even after tomorrow, we are not done. We have to run through the finish line. That's the only way that this is going to work. And then when we do, we have more work to do. So, one more time, giant thank you to my very, very dear friend, Malkia Cyril. And I hope you will join me tomorrow when I'm here again talking to Queen from Queen and J podcast. It should be a good one. Hey, this has been Smoke and Mirrors. Do you like what we do here? Great. Oh, also, yeah, sorry the fucking... Oh, that's not even a thing. What is that? Sorry the feds and or Zuckerberg and the algorithm monsters and trolls and your shitty internet service and 5G. I don't know what else were giving us glitchies. Go check it out on YouTube. I'm going to look at it and make sure that it didn't glitch there. If it did not, check it out there. I will repost it, full video, in the Facebook site there. What the fuck is it called? The group! Smoke and Mirrors. The group. Whatever. All right. IG, Smoke and Mirrors, CCB, Twitter, Caballo Negrito, Smoke and Mirrors, CCB at Gmail. Do you have an idea for something we should do? Write us there. You got a complaint? Fold that up and shove it up your ass. This is produced and hosted by myself, Carlos Kareem Wyndham, also hosted by Tracy Tatamy. It's real dark, y'all. Hey, take care of yourself. Take care of each other. Don't go outside. If you do, wear a mask. If you come back inside, wash your hands. Be here tomorrow. I want to see you. Why? Because we love you. Bye-bye.